In this video, I'm going to show you how to create powerful pivot charts in Excel, the smart way to visualize your data. You'll learn how to build charts directly from pivot tables, instantly update visuals just by dragging fields, sort your data to highlight top performers, switch between items, categories, or sales reps in one click, and turn raw numbers into clear, dynamic insights fast. Let's jump right in. So we're going back to our very basic pivot table here. In our row labels, we have our sales reps, and then in our value field, we just have the prices, which is the totals of what they've sold. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to sort this. So I'm going to right-click on the cell, go to Sort, and largest to smallest. So that'll put Jane up on top, so we can see who's selling the most. And then I'm going to create a pivot chart out of this. And you'll remember the value of the pivot table is that we can change these values or these rows really quickly. For instance, we can drag sales reps out of there, drop item in the rows, and now we have the price by item rather than by sales rep. Or we can take the items out and we can put the categories in there. So now we have the total sales for each category. So those are all the quick things we can do. Now let's see what happens when we do this in conjunction with a pivot chart. And I can either go to Analyze and Pivot Chart, or I can go to Insert and Pivot Chart. Now you'll notice we still have our regular charts here and our recommended charts, which we've worked with before. But we're going to go to Pivot Chart over here. So you click on that, and by default it just goes to the column. And you can hover over the image with your mouse and it will get bigger. So it just shows a really basic column chart of our categories sorted by price. Now you could also do a pie chart with this, where it'll just show you, for instance, that living room is the majority of the sales, whereas bath is the smallest section. So let's just go with a pie chart so I can show you some more details of how quickly you can change this with a pivot chart. So I'll click OK. That pops up our chart. Now I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to go to the axis or category and pull that out of there. And I'm going to drag the items in instead. So now you see a pie chart divided up by each item. And if we expand that out, you can see the whole list. As you can see, that rug is the biggest one, fireplace is a big one, and so on. So let's shrink that back down. I'm going to change it again. We'll pull the items now out of the rows, and we'll put the sales reps in. Now we can see all the sales sorted visually, and of course you see Jane, who's the light blue here, taking up a whole quarter of the pie. But it's really that easy and quick to just drag these out of here and drag something else in there. So by putting the region in there, I can quickly see the division between the West region sales and the East region sales. And you can see that the West region is dominating. Let me show you one other kind of chart real quick. We'll just do a column chart. So we go to Analyze and Pivot Chart. That's the other way to insert it. And we'll go to the column chart. So you can see this is a real simple breakdown of East versus West sales, similar to that pie chart. And again, we can get rid of the region, and we can put the item in here. So now our columns are broken down by item. And of course, we can sort this list to make the chart make more sense. So we right-click, Sort, largest to smallest. And then this makes a lot more sense. So now it's really easy to see that rugs are our top seller, fireplaces are next, coffee tables, and so on, all the way down to the poor little toaster. So we can drag that out. Now we'll put the category in. Again, we'll sort this. And so here you can see living room is the top seller, patio, kitchen luggage, and bath. And let's see what happens when we do the day. Once again, I'm going to sort it. It's just very quickly returning some valuable information. You can see with just a glance that Sunday is the top sales and Friday is by far the worst sales. Well, a lot of the formatting on pivot charts is similar. So if we want to go in and select on our grid lines and delete those, we can. If we want to go and edit our title bar, we can edit that. And we can remove the legend, things like that to clean it up and make it better. We can widen up these. Basically, any of that formatting that you can do with a regular chart, you can also do with a pivot chart. So you'll also notice these two buttons here on the chart, which are representing our rows and our values. The cool thing is with the days, this is actually sortable. So you can go in here and you can only select, say, the weekend. Click OK, and it will instantly change the chart to reflect that sorting. Or we could put in Friday through Sunday, and it'll show that. And then you just go to select all to bring it back to normal. But if you want to get rid of those buttons, then you click on your chart, go to Analyze, and you have this section here called Show or Hide. And you can go to the Field Buttons drop down here, and it will give you options. So you can get rid of the Value Field buttons by clicking that, and you'll see that Sum of Price button's gone. And then we can go to our Axis Field buttons. Click on that, and the Day drop-down button is gone. So now it looks pretty much like a normal chart. The only difference being, when I go in and grab these, I can drag the days out of there, I can drop the sales rep back in, and presto. Now the chart is representing my sales reps. So that's how you quickly and easily create pivot charts from your pivot tables so that you have a nice visual representation of your pivot tables that will instantly change and update as you change your pivot table.